Hey, don't start with me, man. In front of it?
Not again, dude!
Oh, man, fight for the people.
Who's this?
I love you all. I love you all. I love you all. Okay.
Right.
Jesus. So this is one of our heroes also, that if it wasn't for this guy,
If it wasn't for the frog leap, we wouldn't have no stage moves.
at all.
No, everyone would just stand there.
We would never have been able to properly develop all of our choreography.
This is Lars Ulrich keeps his mouth shut hour.
Hopefully,
They're all going, yay.
I know that. Everybody's
Didn't say
like,
much. Excellent.
this year, for some reason, this tour, we finally came, we finally got to be real friends and stuff, I think. It took a long time. Seriously, though, man, I mean, I just feel silly and shit. But really, it took a long time. It took a longer time for Kirk to kind of come around, and now that we...
It took a long time for me to undo all the things I did to him when he first joined the band. That's what he's really saying.
It took me 6 years to accept him.
Welcome back. Hetfield, come on, buddy, just a little bit longer. You can make it. You know we're on tour. Is it over? We're on tour. The tour's not over. The show's not over either. It's soon.
I heard like some weird music, man, when I was sleeping. It was like reminding me of some little man or something. I don't know, like Sandman or something. I don't know.
That's what it was.
Until it sleeps, Sandman. What's up with you guys?
You're sleeping.
It's like talking about sleep all the time. Does that mean you're on tour too long? Sleeping up? And what's the deal?
I don't know.
I don't get it.
Anyway.
That was Sandman, huh?
Metallica's 1991 Black album, and stuff.
None more black.
None more black. We've got, what do we got? What the hell are we going to do, man?
We're gonna
be on
not
tour.
say hell anymore because you get in trouble.
We're going to
But
be
it's Metallica TV anyway, so
hell
with it.
tour and stuff for quite a while now. We just started up our European tour. We're going to be out for a bit and hope to see some of your smiling and ugly faces there.
All right. What are we gonna do? Thin Lizzy?
Why don't you talk about?
I'll talk about Thin Lizzy.
Let's talk about Thin Lizzy a little bit.
Yeah,
Do you like
Thin
them?
Lizzy.
Did you like them?
Totally cool harmonies.
Did you
and stuff
like?
like that.
Did you like them?
Yeah, that stuff and
like a big connection that I don't think can be broken, no matter what happens otherwise politically or in the thing or record sales or anything that he and I have because of the time we spent together when no one else was around. Okay, for me, it's still that. So I saw him transform from the thing that you talked about to the next thing, to the next thing, the next thing, to see to what he is now. I was never in a band with any of those guys, but especially James, when he wasn't pretty much plowed, And so I don't know him as a sober person.
Yeah. It is wild too to think about whenever it comes to Jason and Metallica, it's always talked about mostly just the hazing and the insanity. But really, there's just years of deep love in there, or else you wouldn't even have lasted 2 or 3 years. People.
None of us would have. None of us would have.
Right. They really ignore it. And it's funny just to hear you say right there, James and I shared the dressing room. And in most people's minds, they'd be like, oh, how the fuck did that go down? But I think deep inside, I wonder at night if he goes like, and especially when I was at the 30-year anniversary and you walked on stage and played again, there's got to be something in his mind of like, fuck, this has got some, because we're talking about one of the greatest bass players of all time, Cliff Burton, okay? And then for you to step in, if you look at those era, there is goddamn chemistry there, and let it be the anger or whatever it is, there's chemistry. And I know that he looks at that probably and goes, fuck, that shit is fire. The background vocals, the playing, the style, the look, the energy, the lead singing, everything. So I know there's no way he doesn't go like, man, that was fucking brutal, and I get it. I always say he's on like Mach 3 of his demons right now,
Wow. Okay. And I was just going to use the same terminology. So Mach 1, what I call with Cliff, right? That was its own chemistry that can never be topped. Everybody knows that. Nobody's ever argued that. Not me, for sure. And then our chemistry that we had as Mach 2, it was its own thing with its own flavor. when it came to the live show, man, that was me, man. Okay, here I am, and follow that motherfucker. You know, like that's right the whole time, every time.
Heard the bass live, so and he wasn't afraid to step up to the mic and bark whenever he felt like it, and he would sweat. He would really sweat, and he put a lot into the live show. So that gained a lot of respect, at least I think, for us once we started touring with him.
Come on, admit it. Right on those postcards. Tell me.
Photos of not me, but Kirk.
That can happen. That has happened. There's all kind of groovy things.
There's these boys from Brazil.
That's a movie.
Yeah, and it's also a band.
Okay.
Good that day, though, you gotta admit. I mean, well,
That was back when we had it
when you look
together.
good.
a long time ago. Those days are long gone.
Okay, so.
Well, we just so happen to have a new song that our friend Jason wrote for us, and Jason has got a song for us. He traded it to us for a case of shitty beer. That's fucking nice of him, I know. But he, since he wrote it, he's gonna have to sing it. Is that all right with you? You want to hear Jason sing? Here's Jason's new song. And make him feel good about it. Don't make him cry now. All right? Have to come kick all your aces. Jason, Newsted.
Of our huge world assault with the new. Yes. Dude, that's pretty good corrosion, you know, Pepper. That's good.
I got shot, but I'm better now.
Yeah, I got better. And
My family fell apart, so I created my own family with the band. And then Cliff goes, and that was another extremely tough time.
I don't think that James will probably ever recover from the Cliff thing because of his abandonment and separation, things that happened to him with his family and stuff are so far beyond his control. This is the kind of shit that cuts so deep, you know, no matter how many people you talk it through with, it's still going to be there. So within all of that, he had to find a way to compartmentalize. You know, there's a thing I've learned over these past years, with the respect that I've always had great respect for the guy, but even more so now. There was never a time I didn't respect him. His ability to harness and or process and field everything that comes at him, what he's able to do with the crowd. There's only a handful, you named a couple of them in our conversation already, where he could have 50, 60, whatever the number is, 60, 70,000 people right here the whole time, as long as he wants to, and then push them away and bring them back. I mean, incredible shit. So it's still just flesh and bone. Okay? It's still just a person. And a troubled person that's had all these things that still rise above and get torched and break my arm and rise above, break my arm again and rise above. Keep on coming. What you're made of, dude. Come on. How many times you get back up? We've heard it a million times, but this is fucking real. This is real. How many times you get back and still leads us, and leads those guys today and all this time. How many 40 whatever years later, right? There's certain toughness.
Parents think about all this.
They're into it.
Yeah, your parents are well into it. So is Kirk's. Lars's as well.
Real
My
into
dad,
it.
Whatever.
You think they look at you a little differently when they see the album so high in the charts?
Well, it makes them, and they're proud and they're happy that there's some success going on, It's a bit of a relief for them. They'd be pretty worried about it years ago.
Do they come out and see your shows?
If it's appropriate, if the venue's right, I don't bring them to any small riots that we have in Frisco, We've been known to play a few of those.
And mom up front.
So how old are these guys?
I believe the oldest member is 23, and that's Cliff. And the average age is about 22. Lars is 21.
Let them produce their record themselves.
Right.
And as he did, the back end came around this way, and it started chomp, chomp, chomp.
It's the sound of screeching brakes and being flipped around like a piece of clothes in a dryer.
Scott woke up, like hot coffee getting poured all over me, from the coffee machine, and, the bus was on its side.
What happened? Is the bus gonna blow up? Oh, I jumped out of the bus, took off. Did the 100-yard dash in about 7 seconds flat.
And we're standing out there in our underwear and, 10 below.
And I heard everyone screaming except for Cliff. And I thought, oh my God, something's wrong.
Seeing the bus driver just, freaking frantic.
And I turned around and I saw Cliff's legs sticking out from underneath the bus.
I went to, pull him out, wake him up or whatever. It's like, he's not moving.
And the driver walked over and started pulling on the blanket that was underneath the bus next to Cliff. And I said, what are you doing?
I grabbed him and said, don't you take that away from him.
Against all odds, the band hoped that somehow, some way, Cliff could be saved.
A crane turned up, a big crane with a jib and all that, and they hooked up a chain around the bus, and they picked the bus up.
There's still people trapped under the bus, but everyone else was okay.
I don't know if Cliff was dead at this point or not, because the bus actually slipped back after they picked it up. They lifted it to pull him out, and it slipped back and landed again on the floor.
After that, I was in such shock that everything else for the next 3 or 4 hours, I can't even remember.
Kirk and James yelling at the driver.
What did you do? What did you do?
What happened? What's going on? Is this guy drunk or la la la? Oh, we hit some black ice. And I recall in my underwear, and socks, walking for miles, looking for this black ice, walking back on. Where's this black ice? I don't see any black ice. And I wanted to kill this guy. I was gonna end him there.
Early Saturday morning, September 27th, 1986, on the road near Ljungby, Sweden, Cliff Burton died. He was 24 years old.
He just got thrown out the window and boom, the bus landed on him. And basically, by all accounts, he never woke up. To this day, I just think, it could have been me, couldn't have been me.
They found me pretty much, when I heard that they were doing auditions, right, like whatever, 3 weeks after the accident or whatever, called my friend Michael and, we got together or whatever. I told him I wanted to do an audition, and so Lars called me and just went from there. He told me I had 4 days before an audition or whatever, and so I locked myself in my room with the tapes and just did it, learned everything I could, and went and kicked the ears.
Hey.
No, that was it. When I heard that I had the chance, there was no way that I wasn't going to get it. I told myself, convinced myself there was no way that I was going to let this pass me by. Because it's like, a dream come true. Really. I'm just going to try to create, the separate personality. Everybody, like he was saying, everybody's got their own thing. Kirk has his personality, Lars has his, James. And then as as a unit, you know, they all put 1/4 in to make the ultimate unit, right? So I'm just going to fill my 25% over here on this side and create my own personality, and you know, as far as the bass playing, you know, I'm just going to do my own style. Like Lars told me, and he was saying, you know, they're not looking for a Cliff Burton clone. That'd be impossible, and there's no way it ever could happen. So I'm just going to, you know, play my own style and just do my thing.
And for him and for us, it was difficult. It just truly was. And, you know, Psych 101 will tell you that all our anger, our grief and sadness got directed at him when it, you know, not all of it, but quite a bit of it was, he was an easy target. And I think there were a couple things about Jason, you know, his personality. He felt he was goofy enough to take it, which was a positive for him. I think he was such a fan, and we hated that. We hated that part. We wanted to unfan him and become
as hard as you were.
Yeah, as hard as we were. So trying to beat the fan out of him, trying to also get him to play something different like Cliff would, you know. But obviously live, he fit right in. He was a great force.
Putting your eyeballs on Jason because he's going to show you what the fuck to do.
So I realized that as I was with him a little bit, it would always, Kirk and Lars were in one dressing room and James and I were in the other. That's how it always was. And my mom embraced him. My family embraced him. It was all that thing. He was my brother like that. So I always tried to be there for him like that. You know what I'm saying? But so to see him, I didn't know him yet. He didn't let me know him yet in those years. I could only be support on the stage and support when he asked me to be that.
He's the godfather of heavy metal. Our father.
Who art in metal.
Our father who art in Rickenbacker.
Who wart in metal.
He's gonna get you now. Lemmy kicks butt.
That's true.
A lot. All the time.
Lemmy had a lot to do with all of us in Metallica, and individually and collectively, and all of Motorhead. Just the out and out speed and grind and
attitude, man.
Totally.
Attitude. Motorhead had a lot to do with us getting going, really. And the man invited us to we got invited to hang out at his 50th birthday party, and he doesn't look 50, does he? He look about. Anyway, he's happening still, and we thought we might as well show up with a few of their songs and play a few of them. We jammed on like 6 of the tunes, and we dressed up as the man, put Lemmy wigs on.
We were actually the Lemmys.
Yeah.
It was we drew tattoos on our arm, Born to Lose and all that shit, and Lemmy wigs, shades, black shirts, the bullet belt, the whole deal. 4 Lemmys, the Lemmys, the Lemmys.
Right.
Well,
one of the songs we did was the face is better than the. Oh wait, what is
Snatch,
it?
Better than the face is better than
Chase
the
is better than the
reach.
catch. Yes.
Chase is better than the catch from the almighty Ace of Spades album from like about 1985.
Crushing, way ahead of their times.
And
the full Monty rock and roll. Lemmy and Motorhead.
Everybody was winding me up, but I've expected it and learned to kind of deal with it, you know. So it's not really that big deal. The big deal is like when I give them a hard time back, they can't deal with it. That's the Ford. No, seriously though, you know, I'm supposed to be able to take it, and then when I give it back to them, they're like, you know. But,
Look, it's Jason. Pensacola, baby. Pensacola, what's happening? Jason, look, Jason shades us.
Clean fucking shaven. All for you guys, baby. Jason wants to know if he's gonna be happy with all you fuckers out there. Yeah, Jason's all fine.
Going on, you know, between the two of you, about some of the jamming and stuff that maybe you've been doing, because it's a side of like Metallica that you don't really imagine, you know, of looking at it from the outside, you know.
We're jamming fools.
It took a long time. Seriously though, man, I mean, I just feel silly and shit. But really, you know, it took a long time. It took a longer time for Kirk to kind of come around, and Kirk and I have really been starting to indulge heavily in the blues, you know. I listen to a lot of older folk blues and stuff, and Kirk's really got turned on to Robert Johnson and those kind of things lately.
Yeah.
You know, and then vintage guitar collecting comes into the picture because of that, you know, and so we do that together too. There's lots of, I mean, James is listening to different music now.
Country and Western.
Yeah, and he still listens to, we still have our old, reliable, like Sabbath and Hendrix and those kind of things, but then there's all different new stuff. But you listen to some weird new stuff too.
It's not weird, man.
Well, whatever. But you know, like, so, you know, alternative stuff.
I like
that's a different influence for many of us too. He's the only one who listens to that stuff, really.
I like noise bands, like Sonic Youth and Ministry, Godflesh, that type of crap. And
it's not crap.
It's not weird, I said. And you know, just anything that sounds interesting to me today.
Jason over there, he's always in a good mood, and I think he feels like he wants to play a little bass guitar for you. I can't hear you, man! Yeah. Okay, let's have some lights, man. Let's get together here. Yeah. Okay, Stockholm, what's up, man? You guys doing all right tonight?
Dude, that's pretty good corrosion, you know, Pepper. That's good. Corrosion of Conformity is opening, by the way. Also, and
they rock.
We're going to show. The first thing we're going to show tonight, this afternoon, today, is a new Metallica video, and we made it with Anton Corbin. We
were the Cowboys.
We were the good guys. That
we were
is
good guys.
The good guys.
But I got shot. But I'm better now.
Yeah, I got better. And this one is the first time that we kind of tried a little bit of, well,
semi-acting.
Characterization.
It was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Very cool.
Got to watch people in the band beat each other up and
shoot each other.
There's never any big bass on Metallica's albums until the Black Album. There was audible bass of From the Bell Tolls, solos, obviously, Call of Cthulhu, Orion. These things were up there where there was lead bass, but as far as the body and the depth and the girth of the bass frequencies, they didn't exist in Metallica albums other than the bass drum. Until the Black Album, kind of trying to find my place. The incredible thing now, 35 or 36 years since I Guess For All, the best garage duo ever. You know, like White Stripes could barely tie these guys' shoes. No disrespect to White Stripes or Black Keys or who's that bus? So what is that? Duo Jets? Those guys early on, just two-piece. This is what always happened in Metallica. There's two people. They go into a room, usually as small as possible, like a fucking cave, right? And there's still stacks of Marshalls in that cave, even though literally it's 70 or 80 square feet. I mean, and a drum set and a couple Marshall stacks and the old Tascam cassette recorder 8-track. Yes, they were, speaking of master, they were very good at this thing. The demos that they produced just from that little machine were insane. So it was always that sound. That was the sound of the band. Look at the original photographs where it's just Lars with his drum kit and James, and they're both hanging on the flying V. It was them. That's always been the sound of the band. The two other guys over here compliment, embellish, whatever you want to call it. You know, so that actually was just the next extension of those two guys doing that thing. And they had to make sure it would, you know, I mean, think about the confusion and the holy shit that's going on in their heads. And, you know, we're talking about living in a band with full-blown alcoholics, man. I mean, it's, you know, there's a lot to it. There's a lot to it. But we did good at still making our way and working hard. But my take on it now as a fan first, then in the band, now out again and trying to get the fans' perspective, step out of myself. Best garage duo ever. Best garage duo album ever.
I agree. And I'm never a fan of any of my favorite records going way back, I'm never a fan of changing the history of something by let's add bass into it now. And, you know, once they released the box set, people are like, where's the bass? It's like, quit talking about that and just take in the magnitude of this goddamn record. They lost a member. They get a new member. They go out and tour with Ozzy. They come in and they record one of the most insane metal records ever made. And still to this day, it just shadows how great the songs and how insane this thing was for these guys, the direction they took and the risks they took instead of just being a standard thrash metal band. Here's something for you, you know?
There are so many elements involved, and some of them I talked about, but not to you. So,
Dear mother, dear father, what is this hell you've put me through? Believer, deceiver, day in, day out, live my life through you. Pushed onto me what's wrong or right, hidden from this thing that they call life.
When my father left, I was 13. My mother passed away, I was 16. I blamed him for that. I blamed him for my mom passing away. Obviously, the Christian Science religion is you don't go to the doctor. Right. She died of a cancer that just we watched her wither away, me and my sister. It was a big blur, all of that. Yeah. You know, all through high school. I went straight into the drinking, so it was, I masked a lot of feelings of abandonment. Once the abandonment happened, and once I really got a deep anger for my father and my mother passed away, I had some couple of close friends that I was pretty close with, but not to the fact or the point where you could sit down and say, man, my mom died and I feel like this. You know, there was none of that. There was no funeral. There was no grieving part. That's another part of the religion that just, it didn't do well for me.
I see faith in your eyes. Never you hear the discouraging lies. I hear faith in your cries. Broken is the promise. Betrayal, the healing hand held back by the deepened nail. Follow the God that failed.
It kind of went away. It just went away. I've gotten closure with my mom, going to her, I guess mausoleum you'd call it, and just asking her all kinds of questions. You know, why? Why didn't you let us help you? This, all these things, all these questions that maybe I'll get the answer to later. I certainly started to close off the world and get very, very deep into music and let my feelings out through music. I would hear songs and understand that they're talking to me, they're communicating with me, they understand me. And that was where I started to connect to music deeply.
Lars took over from then on. And, you know, in all fairness to Lars, without Lars Ulrich, that band wouldn't be where they are today.
Drinkers we were. We went back to the hotel and just drank, you know.
I remember at 4 o'clock in the morning, I could hear James down on the street, drunk, screaming, Cliff, Cliff, where are you? And when I heard that, I just broke into tears, you know.
Within hours, news of Cliff's death reached Metallica's fans in America. One such fan was Flotsam and Jetsam bassist Jason Newsted.
I remember tears hitting the newspaper. Killed in Sweden, Metallica bassist Cliff Burton, 24 years old or whatever, and I'm just lost it.
Lars, James, and Kirk returned to San Francisco to attend the funeral of their friend and bandmate.
It was on September 27th. You know what day that is?
Mm-hmm. The day of Cliff.
So on September 27th in 2000, we went to LA together to the place that we made the Black Album to talk about the Black Album. And I had copies of the Echo Brain thing I was passing around. And James was in the room, not liking it. Mm-hmm. That was the moment. On Cliff's day. Okay?
Wow.
Both bass players left the same day.
That's a head. That's a head and a half.
Same day we both left.
I'll die if I let go. Control is love. Love is control. I will only let you breathe my air that you receive. Then we'll see if I let you love me.
He left the band! He fucking left the band! Which part of that is... Hello? You know what I mean? He fucking left the band! I mean, period! Exclamation point! Yeah! Which part of that is forgotten? I just...
to having the drummer do the beat part. You know what I mean? Holding it together.
What I'm hearing is, choose my words carefully here. It's pretty straightforward. You know, the guitar shit, it's, you know, it's a little stock. So I started trying to introduce some kind of edge to it from the drums.
Those things we throw out to each other are complete bullshit. You know? It sounds too stock. It sounds too normal to me. That, I mean, you know what I mean? You're saying this shit so you can get your point across about doing a drum beat. I mean, you know, it doesn't hold any water.
To you.
It doesn't.
I think it's fucking stock. Which part of that is unclear to you? I think it sounds stock to my ears. I mean, you want me to write it down? I think it feels stock,
I
okay?
can't hear you.
So I
No, when you say, you're telling me what to play right now. You're telling me you should play with what Kirk's doing, and I'm telling you it's stock.
Dude, fine.
You know what, guys? Why don't we just go in there and just hammer it out, all right? Instead of hammering on each other.
I mean, we're in shit moods, and we're not going to get anything
All you want to
done
do is
here
pick a
today.
fucking fight, and...
I don't want to pick a fight.
This is so silly. You're just sitting there going, I'm in a really pissy mood, and...
And I fucking told you straight up that I was.
Right.
And what are you trying to do?
I'm not trying to do fucking shit. You're just sitting there being a complete dick.
You're really helping matters. You're really good at that. I was straight up with you, and I told you I'm in a shit mood, and what have you been doing? Fucking picking at me all night.
Come on, guys. We got better things to do, all right?
Yeah, I do. I do.
Metallica frontman James Hetfield has entered a rehabilitation facility to undergo treatment for alcoholism and other undisclosed addictions.